Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman 3. So, I already released a previous video talking about this Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman 3 situation already. So if you haven't checked that video out, I would highly recommend going back and checking out that video first. That way you are not confused on what this particular Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman 3 video is about. But I will give you a quick little TLDR. So basically, Gal Gadot has a new movie debuting on Netflix titled Heart of Stone. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, when you have a new movie coming out, if you're part of a, let's say a big streaming service or a big major movie studio production company, like, the big ones you guys all know and love, you have to do, let's say, marketing in your contract. So you do interviews and you do a bunch of content, a bunch of commercials for it. And CBR released this interview they did with Gal Gadot ahead of her newest movie coming out on Netflix. And in this CBR interview, Gal Gadot had mentioned the fact that she and James Gunn are working on developing a Wonder Woman 3. Now, that is already pretty interesting, given the fact that Wonder Woman 3 should have already not been a thing because, they had already turned down Patty Jenkins' direction for Wonder Woman 3 with Gal Gadot that was going to be involved in that movie. Now, this could also be something that needs to be said too. Just because they don't want to go with Patty Jenkins' direction doesn't mean they can't use Gal Gadot. But James Gunn has mentioned the fact that he would like to minimize audience confusion, right? So Gal Gadot, as you guys know, is part of the DCEU, which started in 2013 with Man of Steel, which was directed by Zack Snyder. Gal Gadot made her first appearance in the DCEU in 2016's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, if you want to truly minimize audience confusion, then you can't really take people from the previous universe and bring them over to the DCU. Now, because people are probably going to say, well, yes, you can. You could just take the fan favorites that people like. Yes, you can do that, but this is billed as a reboot of the franchise. And I know a lot of people have kind of debated on what kind of reboot this actually is. I would personally just hard reboot everything, But I can see the sentiment in, well, if the person's never did a bad job and is liked with the general audience to a certain extent, you could just keep them. But James Gunn has said he would like to minimize audience confusion because a general audience person would be confused on, okay, well, this is a new universe, so why is that version of Wonder Woman here? Because James Gunn has mentioned the fact that the Blue Beetle movie coming out, well, that movie's coming out in a different universe, but he is taking that Blue Beetle character, and that Blue Beetle character will be in the DCU. The DCU starts, technically, in 2024 with Creatures Commandos, which is a TV series that is going to be debuting on Max, actually. Then, the first DCU movie is coming out in 2025, and we also have, our newest, Clark Kent and Lois Lane that had been casted already. So the thing here, from a few takes that I gathered, was that a lot of people assumed that this was just misogyny, that people just didn't like Gal Gadot for whatever reason, because she was a woman and all that yada yada bullshit, right? People, please understand this when you're watching this, is people could just not like someone, not because of their gender or their race. They could just not like you for several different reasons. I don't hate her as Wonder Woman myself, but her acting has been pretty hit or miss, give or take, I think her best movie she's acted in this universe was in her first Wonder Woman film, her first solo film, which came out back in 2017. The other movie she's been a part of, a lot of people look at her as a bright spot in BVS, but to be fair, BVS is so freaking bad that it doesn't really matter anyway. Like, a lot of things could be bright spots in that steaming pile of horse shit, right? And then, the other movies, she doesn't really do anything. She's just a cameo where she just comes in and, it's just Wonder Woman. They're just trying to randomly tie her into a movie that she doesn't really need to be a part of. Now, she's not doing a bad job, but you gotta factor in, could there be someone who could do a better job? Yeah, to be fair, anybody could theoretically do a better job, but, is she worth replacing is something you have to kind of factor in. Because James Gunn is keeping Peacemaker, Viola Davis, portrayed Amanda Waller, and Peacemaker is portrayed by John Cena, right? So it's one of these things where, this is going to be a new universe because the DCU ends this year in 2023 when Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom drops toward the end of this year in December, right? So this is my thing as well is, maybe there was some miscommunication on her part to him, but or maybe she's doing this as some sort of leverage, because this is something that I don't see a lot of people bringing up, is the fact that the actor who is portraying the character is going to have way more leverage than some insert random. Now, James Gunn's obviously not a random, I know that, but when an actor can, or actress can do these things, it's to basically kind of like use their huge social media leverage and, let's say, influence they have to kind of influence a decision, right? Now, that could be a thing she's doing, or maybe there was just some genuine miscommunication. But Wonder Woman had no announcements in James Gunn's first initial slate announcements for DCU Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, right? And I'm saying she should have been a part of that. I mean, Wonder Woman is a very popular character, and obviously her comic books now aren't really that good. As I've read a little bit of tidbits out of them, they're pretty bad. But her as a character, she should be a part of the universe because she's one of the Trinity, as you would say. So let's get into this exclusive that Variety had got, actually, which is Wonder Woman 3 won't fly in the new DC universe, despite Gal Gadot teasing development plans. Exclusive. Alright, so that means, did Gal Gadot lie? Is a third Wonder Woman movie on the way from Warner Brothers and DC Studios? Not quite. Okay, so, also, one more thing that I should bring up before I start covering what's actually in the article, which is James Gunn, whenever something comes out that's not true, typically usually shuts it down. We've seen that with many situations. There was one where someone was talking about merging, where there was a rumor going around that James Gunn was going to incorporate, like, Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DCU, and he came out and said that's not true. Like, James Gunn has firmly come out and debunked quote-unquote rumors that, like, the bigger trades or sources the bigger trades may have had that have published articles and said these things, and he's come out and been like, no, that's not true. So at this current moment right now, he's, from my knowledge, not come out and dismiss what she's saying. So I think personally it's some sort of a leverage thing she's trying to play, because, like, Zachary Levi doesn't know if he's going to be Shazam. You have to assume that they're going to recast most of these characters, though. Like, Ezra Miller's movie failing outright. Come on, let's be honest here. They're not keeping that guy. His movie completely just failed, and he's obviously not someone you can use to market a film anymore, Despite recent comments from Gal Gadot claiming DC heads James Gunn and Peter Safran told her they would develop Wonder Woman 3 together, sources with knowledge of the situation tell Variety that is not the case. According to these sources, a third Wonder Woman film is not in development at DC Studios, nor do Gunn and Safran have plans at this time for any Wonder Woman project in the new DC universe other than their previously announced Paradise Lost prequel series for Max. That's also a weird one too. They're gonna have an Amazonian Paradise Lost prequel. Like, that's already weird. I would just do a straight Wonder Woman project of any kind. You could just do a TV series, maybe. You could maybe do, like, another movie, or a reboot of, the Wonder Woman franchise, you could say, right? So this is also what I'll say, too, is, like, given how you want to structure up this universe, like, given how James Gunn is trying to do it, Wonder Woman, let's be honest here, should be a part of it, but I think some of his plans are odd choices, like, keeping Andy Muschietti around to direct Batman Brave and the Bold, which I'll obviously cover in another video, but we'll have to see how that goes, right? Because the Flash movie came out pretty not good, if I'll say that, okay? Gadot first suggested that Wonder Woman 3 might not be fully dead in an interview with comicbook.com. And her quote was, "I love portraying Wonder Woman," she said. "It's so close to and dear to my heart. From what I've heard from James and from Peters is that we're going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together." What's also weird with Wonder Woman is, like, there was a trailer announced for a Wonder Woman open world game, and we've heard nothing about it. Wonder Woman is going to be getting some pretty bad treatment or non-developing projects at DC for quite some time. The actor made a potential future for Wonder Woman 3 appear even more likely during a recently published profile by Flaunt magazine. In this interview, Gadot said she was assured by Gunn and Safran that Wonder Woman 3 would be developed. This is what she said to the other outlet. She said, "I was invited to a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran." Gadot said, "And what they told me, and I'm quoting, 'You're in the best hands. We're going to develop Wonder Woman 3 with you. We love you as Wonder Woman. You've got nothing to worry about, so time will tell.'" Okay. The sources added to Variety that nothing was ever promised to Gadot regarding Wonder Woman 3, nor was there any definitive discussion of Gadot's Wonder Woman continuing in the new DC universe. Gunn and Safran gave a presentation at the start of the year unveiling the first titles in their new DC universe, including Superman Legacy, and they continue to be laser focused on these new films. Variety has reached out to Gadot's representative for further comment. Gadot originated the role of Wonder Woman in Zack Snyder's DC universe, debuting in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, before leading her own two standalone films, Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984. Gadot's Wonder Woman also appeared in Justice League and had cameos in DC films such as Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Her two standalone Wonder Woman films were directed by Patty Jenkins. The two were developing Wonder Woman 3 together before Gunn and Safran were named the new heads of DC Studios. Last December, news broke that Wonder Woman 3 had fallen apart after Warner Bros. Leadership passed on Jenkins' treatment for the sequel. Jenkins publicly exited the project. The news hit shortly after Gunn and Safran took the reins of DC Studios and announced they would be overhauling the DC universe, which led to speculation that Jenkins had rebuffed efforts to reshape Wonder Woman 3 to fit into their DC universe. Jenkins had mentioned on Twitter, "I never walked away," Jenkins shared in a post on Twitter. She says, and I quote, "I was open to considering anything asked of me. It was my understanding there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at this time. DC is obviously buried in changes they are having to make, so I understand these decisions are difficult right now." And the thing with Patty Jenkins is, I liked her first Wonder Woman movie. It's just issues in the third act that I didn't like as for like creative choices, and I would have personally liked a different actor to play Ares, and I think the way they portrayed Ares was not that good. But other than that, I really did like the first Wonder Woman movie, and I think it's like obviously one of the best movies they put out in the DCEU. But Patty Jenkins is, Wonder Woman 1984, where she had all the creative control to do what you wanted, came out pretty bad. Let's just be honest here. Roughly an hour after Jenkins posted her statement, Gunn supported her on Twitter, replying, "I can attest that all of Peter and my interactions with you were only pleasant and professional." Back in January, when Gunn and Safran met with press to unveil the first chapter of their new DC universe dubbed Gods and Monsters, they announced the only Wonder Woman-related project that's currently in development. That's Paradise Lost, a prequel series for Max. The show, which Safran described as a Game of Thrones-ish story, is set on the island of Themyscira before the birth of Wonder Woman. It's really about the political intrigue behind a society of all women, Safran added about the project. Well, that's going to be definitely great, right? A project about all women? Yeah, heard those do pretty well now. Gadot's recent comments on Wonder Woman 3 were made before the SAG-AFTRA strike during her promotional tour for the Netflix spy thriller Heart of Stone, streaming on August 11th. So, yes, so technically right now, at the time of me recording this video, James Gunn actually can't really comment on this too much because there is a writer's strike going on. So, I don't know if she's telling the truth. I mean, like, keeping her, I wouldn't really be that opposed to keeping her, if I'm being completely honest here. But, if this is going to be a rebooted universe, then you probably maybe should get someone new, because what's the point of rebooting if you're going to keep, like, some of the same pieces together, right? Because then, like, other people are probably just going to be like, well, why didn't you keep this person? And why didn't you keep this person? I like that guy, and I like this guy. And it's like, well, if you just kind of hard rebooted everything and chose all new people, then everyone gets a fair treatment. Your favorite character's gone, your favorite character's gone, and my favorite character's gone, but at least we get a clean slate. Because we're gonna get a clean slate with frickin' Batman and Superman. It's like, why wouldn't we get a new Wonder Woman exactly? You know? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like I said in the last video, would you guys prefer if they recasted Gal Gadot? Do you guys want a Wonder Woman 3? I kind of don't really need a Wonder Woman 3, if I'm being honest here. Honestly, I didn't like the idea of the movie being a prequel anyway. That was kind of a stupid... Yeah, because technically Wonder Woman 84 is a prequel to the first one and a lot of the other DC movies. I didn't like that idea in general. I would have preferred if it was just more... I'll say modern day, because that sounds kind of stupid, but present day, right? I would have preferred if Wonder Woman 84 was a present day movie, because movies like Wonder Woman 1984, if they're not good, and they're set in the past... and they're not good, that's like a double whammy, which here, I'll explain this. Super simple. So what's in the past doesn't really mean a whole lot, and the stakes are really low, and you also the fact that if it's not good, it's in the past and it's a waste of time. So that's kind of what you get out of that. So yeah, but that is it for this video. I will be going over, I have like, oh, well, to be fair, I'll say this right now before I end this video. So right now, currently on my slate, I have a lot of news videos to, you know, actually go over. I don't know why that big thing popped up there. Technical difficulty. Sorry about that. So yeah, there's quite a bit of news videos for me to cover. You know, the Disney shareholder meeting, then the, you know, price increase for Disney Plus and Hulu. You also have the news video. I want to give my opinion on the, you know, what's his name? Andy Muschietti directing, you know, the new Batman Brave and the Bold movie, all that stuff. So there's like past news that I want to also cover too, that I want to give my opinion on as well as, you know, current news that isn't happening as well. So yeah, there's a lot of news videos coming, and, you know, I'm obviously taking it one day at a time, but these videos are going to be coming out more consistently because this is kind of like the news of the day kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, comment down below, and I will see you later. And this is MSK, and this is Online Cinema Entertainment, your one place for online cinema. All right, guys, deuces, peace.